It seems that the Iran waters are being contested again in regards to the militaries that are over in Iran and also the U.S. military. This is not the first, not the last, and seems to be a continuing, ongoing thing every couple years that we see something like this. Now, to give you some refresher, I want to go back to 2016 first before we even talk about what just recently happened only 2 days ago. Now, if you guys do forget, there were some U.S. military that were on these small ships that were traveling on their way back to Bahrain and allegedly towards the Iranian area where they were having issues with their engines. Now, according to reports, it does look like as they approached, they took over that ship, and these U.S. Navy sailors were captured. Now, while they were there, it seems that some of the key information and leadership was blamed during this in regards to what was let out, because it appears that there were some officers that broke what they were supposed to do in following direct orders. And also on top of that, it appears that there were 2 enlisted people that broke the code of conduct as well. And this was captured within 24 hours. That boat was released back to the U.S. military. They captured their weapons. And those 4 sailors that they had, 2 officers, 2 enlisted, were in trouble. They did not actually release what the punishment was for these guys, but this was kind of a psychological, social win for the Iranians, as they showed only a couple of days, I believe, after this, where they actually had people that were imitating the U.S. Navy sailors, and they were dressed up as U.S. military in this parade float type situation, and they kind of mimic what we were going through at that time. And a lot of people said that this was not a good look. It was actually distasteful, as both countries came to a mediated ending to this. And as you can see from this embarrassment here, these are some of the clips that were from 2016 that did discuss what was right, what was wrong, and kind of the sides of both countries.
It was a mistake. That was our fault, and we apologize for our mistake. The Iranian patrol boat came out when we were having engine issues and had weapons drawn, so we tried to talk to them until more boats came out and took us in.
It's not clear what circumstances the comments were made under, and if they were made voluntarily.
The Iranian behavior was fantastic while we were here. We thank you very much for your hospitality and your assistance.
Video of the sailors sitting down for a meal while in custody does suggest they were treated well. Both countries are hailing the swift resolution as proof of improved relations.
You can all imagine how a similar situation might have played out 3 or 4 years ago. And in fact, clear that today this kind of issue was able to be peacefully resolved and efficiently resolved. And that is a testament to the critical role that diplomacy plays in keeping our country safe, secure, and strong.
As for the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, he tweeted, quote, "Happy to see dialogue and respect, not threats and impetuousness, swiftly resolve the sailors' episode. Let's learn from this latest example," unquote.
Now that brings us into current day, because while that was successful in their attempts back in 2016, I think the U.S. military learned its lesson. Was like, let's not use people to go through these areas if we can, because we saw what happened. And I've never actually seen any annotation of this, but it looks like there are these drone boats that are out there. Now, according to some of the Task and Purpose article here, it looks like these boats are actually powered by just regular wind. They're about 25 feet long, and I've been in the Navy and never even seen one of these things, so maybe they were in small production, but just putting that out there. Now, it does appear that there is some kind of drone footage from the air that is actually showing that the ships, or these sailboats, whatever you want to call them, were actually being harassed or trying to be captured by the Iranian Navy that's out there. And luckily, it does appear that there was some kind of reinforcement to brush off this kind of aggression. According to Task and Purpose, the sail drone is a small boat just 23 feet long and relies on the oldest form of nautical propulsion, the wind, to propel itself. The Navy has been testing and employing them in the Gulf region since the beginning of this year. Of course, being a robot, the ship can't really do anything if another ship hooks up a tow line and starts pulling it away, which is where the Navy's human component enters the picture. The nearby coastal patrol ship, the USS Thunderbolt, and MH-60S Seahawk helicopter were dispatched, and after several hours, the sail drone was freed to continue taking in all of the sights, sounds, and signals intelligence that one of the world's busiest shipping routes has to offer. So essentially, there are these patrol ships that are over in the Bahrain area. It looks like they reported this, and this aircraft they sent over was a air-to-surface combatant of some kind. It also did some kind of rescue mission as well, as far as my knowledge. And this has brought a lot of statements out from some of the top brass. And Vice Admiral Brad Cooper says this: IRGCN's actions were flagrant, unwarranted, and inconsistent with the behavior of a professional maritime force. And it continues to say, U.S. naval forces remain vigilant and will continue to fly, sail, and operate anywhere international law allows while promoting rules based on international order throughout the region. Which is General Michael Eric Kurilla, which added, the professionalism and competence of the crew of the USS Thunderbolt prevented Iran from this illegal action. The incident once again demonstrates Iran's continuing destabilization, illegal and unprofessional activity in the Middle East. And just to give you guys some geographical context, because I think a lot of people don't understand how tight this Persian Gulf area is, but you can see that it kind of bottlenecks down here near the Dubai region and Abu Dhabi, but then actually gets pretty wide between Bahrain and Iran over here. And so, yes, it is a smaller body of water, but definitely is not something that could be mistaken if you were in Iranian space or not. And obviously, it's pretty easy to avoid if you needed to. And allegedly to this is international space that they could travel freely. And I think that we're going to see more of these things becoming more and more prevalent in regards to our type of drone ships that are out there, because as long as these stay within international waters, there could be active surveillance without having to risk human life. This could also include over into the Southeast Asia area, as we know that the Chinese have been making those man-made islands that are out there. And what does that mean as far as, we don't want to be aggressive in regards to putting these ships out there and make them more vulnerable. But if we put some of these out there, I could say, hey, at least we're still able to collect data, still able to freely travel, still able to exercise rights of international waters. I don't see that why there should be anything wrong with that, but I know that there's going to be a lot of people trying to look to gather stuff off this. And while this does not interfere with human life or risk to that, you also have to look at the fact that, are they going to look at gathering intelligence from these things, how they can jam radars, jam signals, things like that, maybe hack it or give bad information to it. As we move into this information warfare, a lot of this seems crazy, but I will say that it makes some of the most sense, as I think this is the 21st century battle that we're fighting right now. But what do you guys think about these incidents? Do you think that the Iranians should have some kind of apology made? Do you think this is just an exercise of control? What do you think this is? As we saw back in 2015, 2016, and earlier, those areas were definitely contested and the tensions were pretty high, whereas now we haven't really heard about Iran in several years. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, if you guys have topics, questions, whatever else you want me to cover, hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.